Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again doing another discography countdown of one of my favorite bands. And today we will be talking about Mercyful Fate. Oh, the epic fucking heavy metalers from Denmark. King Diamond is the vocalist. I mean, what can you say about these guys? Just fucking legends. They'd put out a few records early on in the 80s, then kind of disappeared. They disbanded, King Diamond went solo, but then they reunited and put out some more quality shit. And they're still touring around to this day, never mind in the pandemic, but in general, they're still around for the most part. And fuck, this was a hard list, but let's just get right into it. They've got 7 studio albums. I'm going to rank them from my least favorite down to my favorites. Let's get right into it. At number 7, I have got Into the Unknown. By no means a bad album. I don't really think Mercyful Fate has any bad albums. This one to me just isn't as memorable as some of the others. This is in the later stages of their career, which you'll see by my list. My bottom 3 albums on here are kind of the last 3 albums, and they're not quite up to the same par as the rest of them, but it's not to say they're bad. This is still like a 7 out of 10 album. Still got some good songs. The Uninvited Guest, Cthulhu, The Mad Arab 2. Like, it's still decent. Just, if I'm in a Mercyful Fate mood, this is probably not the album I'm going to go grab. But it's still worth a listen. Coming in at number 6 is Dead Again. Like I just said, this is in the later stages of their career as well. This one, pretty much on par with Into the Unknown. They're almost interchangeable to me. They just aren't that memorable. Some of the tracks are still pretty good, like Torture 1629. And Crossroads has got a really cool riff. I really like that song, actually. But overall, this just isn't what I would consider a classic Mercyful Fate album that you must own. It's still worth a listen, but it's also just a 7 out of 10. Coming in at number 5 was their last album, titled 9. This one is definitely a step above Dead Again and Into the Unknown, but I just can't put it any higher than this. I feel like they were kind of going for a throwback sound, and it worked to some degree, but same kind of thing, the songs just aren't as memorable as the classics. But this is definitely a step up. This is a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Last Rites is a cool, old school sounding song. Sold My Soul, House on the Hill, Burn in Hell. There's still some good fucking cuts on here. And overall, it's a pretty good album. Still worth a listen. But now into my top 4. And these are all killer fucking albums. And definitely should go check them out if you haven't heard them. Coming in at number 4 for me is Time. This was their 4th album. And this is a fucking killer. This is like 8.5 out of 10 for me. Really killer songs on here. It doesn't quite have the old school vibe. It's almost got more of a King Diamond solo album feel to it with how some of the songs are. I wouldn't necessarily call this all a concept album, but it's definitely fucking good. It's a more modern sound, but it's fucking killer still. Witches Dance, got a video for that. Dancing, the witches dance. Dancing the dance. Of course, King Diamond's falsettos, I can't even attempt to do that. I'm not even gonna fucking try. It's just pathetic how I do it, but his are so fucking amazing. The Mad Arab, Angel of Light, just fucking killer songs on here, and overall, just a solid album from front to back. Coming in at number 3 is their comeback album after we thought they were not gonna be around anymore. It's In the Shadows. Absolutely killer. I give this one a 9 out of 10, maybe even 9.5 out of 10. This is very underrated. Not a lot of people give this a lot of credit. Everyone just listens to the first 2 Mercyful Fate albums, and for good reason. Those are fucking classics. But In the Shadows needs a listen. It's so fucking good. Egypt, The Old Oak, The Bell Witch, 13 Invitations. Just killer song after killer song. The solos on here shred. The guitar riffs are so good. And of course, King Diamond is just on point as always. His vocals are unreal. Just one of the most unique voices in metal, but one of the best. And that's why that album had to come in at number 3. But I've got 2 left, and those are the first 2. Which one's in which spot? Let's find out. Coming in at number 2 is the debut Melissa. Absolutely killer album. For me, this is 9.5 out of 10. Borderline 10 out of 10. Just a classic for its time. It's so fucking good. It's so catchy. Evil, Curse of the Pharaohs, Into the Coven, this title track, Melissa, just fucking evil lyrics, so satanic, but his vocals are so good. Like, there wasn't anything this evil out at that time, not for like straight up heavy metal like this is. I know a lot of people like group Mercyful Fate in as like the first wave of black metal. I don't really consider them black metal at all. I mean, there's nothing really associated with black metal with Mercyful Fate other than maybe the corpse paint that King Diamond wears and some of the satanic themes. But musically, this is more on par with like new wave of traditional heavy metal, just classic heavy metal with some fucking insane, awesome vocals. But absolutely amazing album for its time, and it still holds up. Fucking classic. You gotta go listen to it. But that leaves one. It's the one I've got a poster of up in the corner there. You might not be able to see it that well, but that is Don't Break the Oath, their second album. Very much in the same vibe as Melissa, but I feel like it goes a step above. The riffs are a little bit catchier. The songs are a little bit catchier. All in all, just a fucking killer album. Desecration of Souls, Night of the Unborn, The Oath, absolutely epic long song. Come to the Sabbath, one of my favorite Mercyful Fate songs. Just fucking amazing, amazing album. If you've never heard Mercyful Fate, I would strongly suggest you start with Don't Break the Oath. Please give it a listen. And anyways, also, this doesn't count because I don't include EPs on these lists usually, but I'd be remiss not to at least mention their debut EP that came out before Melissa, because that's also a great point to start with Mercyful Fate if you've never heard them, because it is just fucking killer. There's only 4 tracks on there. You can listen to it so easy, but absolutely amazing and really gives you a taste of what's to come. A Corpse Without a Soul, one of the best Mercyful Fate songs of all time. Nuns Have No Fun. And another great one is Devil Eyes, the closer on here. Oh, his vocals are just insane in there. So I know that's kind of off tangent of my list, but I had to talk about the debut EP as well, because it's that fucking good. It would be ranked very high on my list if I was including EPs. But anyways, let me know down below what's your favorite Mercyful Fate album. What's your least favorite? Give me a like, give me a subscribe. Until next time, Hammerheart Metal Reviews out.